Here we have the Pegasus easy build or fast build Soviet ba6 armored car, and there's two of course in the kit. And what we're doing here is we're beginning at the point where I've already got some of these pieces separated from the sprues, and because these kits are so easy to put together, at least they have been so far, I'm just going to go ahead and separate all these parts. There's not that many of them. It's not going to be that difficult. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean these little bits and pieces off of the videos and such. I do notice that there is a difference in some of the tires, so I'm going to have to be mindful of that. Some of them have a shaft or a protrusion, and some of them don't. So I'm just going to do, as I clean off some of these little sprue remnants, check out these tires. The turret, there's one thing that's interesting, and that is where they've got the turret attached, or the sprue attached to the turret. It's right above the gun mantlet. So it's an interesting choice for putting something in the mold. And also I've noticed that the barrel, even though these are relatively hard plastic, the barrel is a little bit bent. And I'm going to use a little bit of just the heat of my hand to get that to be not quite so bent. So it must have been bent in the box or something. But in this case, here's an example, having to, like I did in a previous episode, score this so it comes off easier, because I don't want to lose that part of the mantlet by just breaking it off. You see, that's kind of a nice, kind of a okay, so I didn't damage the plastic at all, so that was a good thing. The same can be said for the front of the vehicle itself, the upper structure. The sprue is attached right here, and that, which I think we can cover up. It doesn't look that bad, so that's okay. Here's the other sprue. Again, we'll just score this and get that piece off of there. Not bad. Not really going to be that concerned because of the way the turret goes together right here. You can see here that the way they've got this designed is pretty smart, as opposed to the Universal Models UM brand. They probably had you put all these things together. At least they did for the one I did, and that was ridiculous. So here we can see what they've done, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. They molded it as all one piece. Vastly, vastly superior. Now the only problem is, you can see this. The only problem is, I don't know what to do with these. Where do I cut them off? A little bit confusing. Now, it's not too clear, but it looks like it's going to be just right there. If you can see, yeah, you can see. Looks like I'm going to cut just right there. So the turret consists of the bottom piece, which has got the shafts that are going to insert in the holes, so that looks pretty good. And again, you see, I'm just trying it just to see how it's going to go together. I see. Okay, getting back to the gun mantlet. Just a very little bit of glue here is all that is needed. I may have even put a little too much on. Okay, I'm not going to put the barrel on yet. Alright, now we're going to go to the hatch. I doubt that I'm going to be able to do this effectively because that hole looks a little bit small for an actual figure to fit into, but I'm going to prepare to put a figure in this vehicle and split this hatch, because it is in fact two hatches. I'm going to split it in half and put one hatch open and one closed, and I'm going to see if I can find a figure to go in there afterwards. And if I can't, well, so be it. So, scoring to cut this hatch in half. I'm not going to do both turrets. Okay, again, watch out, right? Be careful. When you get toward the end, the pieces are going to fly. So, this is the right side. I'll clean that up a little bit. All right, now you can imagine I'm going to drop that in there, right? Okay, I got it on there. It's always like a third time that it behaves. Okay, well that's on there pretty good. It's going to take a little bit of glue to hold it down. I'd rather not sit here and hold it till it dries, so a little bit of... okay, I know what it is. It's this edge. Just needs to be shaved down. Again. Oh, maybe a 1/10 of a millionth of an inch. Just about like dust. Sure enough. So, got my hatch ready to go on. No need to fuss with it. The size of the hinge is actually an impediment to getting it to stand up because the hinge is in the way. See the hinges there? Of the open turret or the open hatch? Those hinges actually have to come off. Why? Because they're in the way of this thing sitting flat. Can't quite see it from this angle, so I'll have to do this lefty-wise. I'm not a lefty. So the hinges are actually in the way. It's true. In order for this to sit flat, those hinges have to be cut off. Okay, again, you can see them being a little sloppy, but you won't even notice it. Okay. Little dab will do ya. Make sure to press very gently, because what you don't want is this glue to come flying out. And now that I say that, that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay. Now I'm going to have to leave a lot of room in there for that commander to get out. So actually, this kit is a pretty nice kit. I might get more of these. Why do I like armored cars so much? Well, because they're not tanks. And they're cars. Everyone likes cars. These guys are just, they got weapons on them. So it's a 1930s truck, and it's got weapons. What's not to like? So, little armored car combat is always good, and it's a way of doing car wars in World War II. So now you notice I'm not scoring these, I'm just punching right through. It's because generally you don't need to worry about it, because the wheels, one part of the wheel's on the ground obviously, and one is up in the wheel well. So they know this when they made these things, that you can hide these tabs, nibs, whatever you want to call them. Sometimes it's a little bit not good. You have to use a knife, but generally you can use your finger. And clean those wheels off. Yes, I understand it's a fast build tank, so why the heck am I taking so long with it? Well, one, to do the video, and two, years of experience, Dr. Ryan. Meaning, I know that regardless what you might think of the model, in the end, when you're done, if you've made a mistake and it's glaring, you will regret it. If you went too fast, you will regret it. When the defect shows up, you will wish you had done blah blah blah. In the end, so do it at the beginning, from the get-go, and you will be much happier. So, making it look as nice as you can, even though I know it's just a game piece, it's going to go in the game table, but make it look nice, because, you know, you spend a few minutes, it's not taking that long, it's only been, what, it's not been quite an hour yet, and I've got two vehicles almost done. I've just press fit the lower chassis, the frame I should say. I've just press fit it onto the upper body, and I didn't even use glue, and it's perfect. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere, nothing's going to happen to it. It's fantastic, absolutely a dream, and I really applaud the guys at Pegasus and whomever they employed to get these things made. I totally applaud their efforts. This is a very successful kit. Not only just because it's easy to put together, but because it looks good as well. I give this a 10 out of 10. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with this kit. It's perfect. That is the way models should all be done. No question about it. They should all go together like this, as fast and as simple as that. Excellent engineering. I would say total production time was approximately 20 minutes. Here's my one with the hatch open. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.